I don't like to be critical of nominees or anyone, really. Try to be as courteous and respectful of as we can the people that we deal with on a regular basis in the Congress. But I have to share with my colleagues a deep feeling that we've got a serious problem with credibility on debt and financing. We've got to end that credibility problem. We've got to be honest and deal with real numbers. So in 2011, January, Mr. Jack Lew, then Director of Office of Management and Budget with a substantial staff, and one of their top duties is to produce a budget every year. Mr. Lew produced the budget, and he went on television immediately and talked about it. I would ask you to listen to these words, colleagues and friends, and anybody that's watching, and see what they mean to you. He said, our budget will get us over the next several years to the point where we can look the American people in the eye and say, we're not adding to the debt anymore. We're spending money that we have each year. Money that we have each year. And then we can work on bringing down our national debt. The lowest single deficit over 10 years that Mr. Lew projected was $600 billion. In other words, there was never a balanced budget, never paying down the debt, never a single year we weren't borrowing at least $600 billion. There was none of that is accurate. It's just breathtaking. I called it the greatest financial misrepresentation in history. If a businessman reported to potential stock purchases, our company's on right track. We're not adding to our debt anymore. We're going to look the people in the eye and say we're spending only money we have, and you're borrowing the least amount of money you borrow in a single year is $600 billion, larger than President Bush ever had in 8 years as president. And when I examined him about it, he insisted that it was true. So we've got a problem. Now, Mr. Lew didn't just make that comment to CNN, in case you think I'm exaggerating here. He also said this in an NPR, National Public Radio interview, February 15th, the day, I believe, of a budget committee hearing. Quote, if we are able to reduce the debt to the point where we can pay for our spending and invest in the future, that is an enormous accomplishment. This budget has specific proposals that would do that. Then he went on to say on February 15th at the Budget Committee hearing, quote, when I asked you, I think this was my question, was this accurate statement that you made, Mr. OMB Director? He said, it's an accurate statement that our current spending will not be increasing the debt. We've stopped spending money we don't have. I mean, I almost can't read those words without the hair standing up on the back of my neck. The Director of Office of Management and Budget appeared before the United States Senate Budget Committee, and he said, it's an accurate statement. This, baloney, is an accurate statement that our current spending will not be increasing the debt. We've stopped spending money we don't have. Nothing could be fault. The lowest single deficit was $600 billion. What about on a different CNN interview on February 14th? Quote, the budget, takes real actions now so that between now and 5 years from now, we can get our deficit under control so that we can stabilize things so we're not adding to the debt anymore. on February 13th on ABC. This budget has a lot of pain, but it does the job. It cuts the deficit in half by the end of the president's first term. It's going to take us a lot of hard work just to take us to the point that we're not adding to the debt. I believe he knew exactly what he was saying. He produced a budget that was panned by virtually every editorial board in America. They hammered it as failing to meet the challenge of our time, and he knew it was that way. He's not a person who doesn't understand these issues. He knew what it was all about, but they decided they would go out and spin it this way. They would say it did what the American people wanted. And I hate to be this harsh, but there's only one conclusion. They decided they would produce a budget that changed the debt course of America none, leaves us on an unsustainable path. Even their own numbers showed that. But they would tell the American people this and say it was fixed, and maybe lull them into a false sense of confidence.